What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam. Hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight, man. Hope you guys have had a great Sunday. Hope you guys are ready for another live 2023 fantasy football mock draft. Tonight, we're going to roll with a redraft mock draft. So, not forgetting about you redraft fantasy football players out there while we've been diving so much more heavily into the Dynasty fantasy season. We still got your back if you guys play redraft. So super excited for tonight's mock. It's been a little bit since we've done one of these on stream, so I'm interested to see some landing spots and how ADP is looking overall. So nonetheless, man, super excited to be here with you guys tonight. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button on the way in. If you guys enjoy free fantasy football content all year round, that is all we do here at the Catch. Redraft, Dynasty, Best Ball, every format you can imagine. So make sure you guys hit the like and hit that subscribe button on the way in. But most importantly, hop in the live chat. Let me know what's popping. Let me know how you guys are doing. Any fantasy football topics, any NFL topics, throw them in the live chat. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk some fantasy football tonight. So let me get the draft order set here for you guys. And I'm going to send out one last warning on Discord. And then we should be good to go. Get this thing rolling. All right. Final warnings out. Okay. So full PPR scoring format, of course. We got one quarterback, two running backs, two wide receiver spots, a tight end, two flex spots. And then we've got 7 bench spots for the night. So let's do it. I'm going to give it, it looks like everyone's coming in here after the Discord announcement. So let's just start. If you guys missed your first round pick, just hop on in and we'll go from there. So let me get the sounds turned off. And there we go. Draft is officially underway. So not anything we need to get into today from a fantasy perspective in terms of news. Ben DiNucci got signed by the Broncos, coming from the XFL, Seattle's XFL team. Like, we got nothing to go over today. So, where do I want to go here? You know what? Let's just do it. You know, the last time I got the 1.1 in a redraft mock, this is exactly what I did. So let's just take Bijan right here. I mean, love C-Mac there. I still personally like Austin Eckler there as well. I really don't have an issue with drafting him there, but I also love the upside of Bijan. You know, if Chase and JJ are off the board, I think you snag a Bijan as your RB1 off the board this year. I'm going to continue to push Bijan's ADP up and up in redraft as much as I can, but I totally understand if you'd rather go with a more, proven quote-unquote player like Christian McCaffrey, like Austin Eckler at the running back position in the first round. If you have an early first-round selection and JJ and Chase are off the board. But right now, I like the upside of Bijan quite a bit. All right, let's see who's in the live chat tonight. Guys, do me a favor, hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Let's try and get as many likes on the stream tonight as possible. By the way, happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there and any moms who may be tuning in today. I know there's actually 1 or 2 of you guys out there. So happy Mother's Day. If you guys did celebrate today, hope you guys enjoyed, and happy Mother's Day to all of your moms if you are not a mom. All right, David, what's going on, man? Been a minute. Good to see you. What's up? What's up? Appreciate you coming out tonight. Thomas, what's going on, man? Super hot here, 90 degrees. Yeah, it was pretty hot today, but luckily we had some clouds as well, so that helped balance it out. But yeah, it's starting to warm up, no doubt. Emil, thank you for that. Thank you for the happy Mother's Day. I appreciate it. David, how did I play in the league this year? So the invites for like our Catch Fam tournament, I haven't even put together anything yet. You know, we've been focused on the Dynasty leagues overall. So I haven't put anything together yet, but I'll certainly be making announcements on Discord. So if you guys are interested in playing in our Catch Fam tournament this year, completely free, of course, just a general redraft, full PPR format. Last year we had 4 leagues. It was a 4-league tournament, 48 total teams. It was a lot of fun. The top scoring team from the year that finished first in their league won a free football jersey. Had to be a player from their respective team. So it was Josh Allen. Went out to Jameis Winston's ACL, one of our OG subscribers. So, yeah, last year was a lot of fun. We'll be running that back this year as well. But I haven't decided exactly when I'm going to have everything together. I would imagine, gosh, this offseason is just flying by. Probably at the beginning of next month, I'll probably start to put that together. So more details to come. And then I've also got to finalize our single quarterback Dynasty League number 2 as well. So I have a little bit of work to do. So hopefully I can get that done tomorrow or Tuesday. I'm off work the next 2 days. So should be able to get that squared away. I was off work today as well, but it was Mother's Day. So, all right. Ooh. Next pick's a little bit tough. Kind of an awkward draft spot, in my opinion, the 2.10 and 3.3. Because, like, sitting here with Bijan, like, there are some really good running backs available. But I'd rather go wide receiver right here, just knowing where running backs should be around at 4.10 and 5.3. But there are some really good running backs on the board right now. Definitely benefits 2 teams in front of me, but I'm going to go Olave here. I think I just want to go wide receiver right here. Boxing the Jack, what's going on? Anthony, what's up, bro? How we doing, my dude? Good to see you in the draft tonight. Really good to see. I mean, I know some of you guys haven't been as involved with the Dynasty content. I totally understand if you guys don't play in Dynasty formats, and we're still primarily a redraft channel. It's just, you know, my first offseason of really starting to dive into Dynasty content. So I'm still here for you redraft guys. Don't worry. And we'll definitely be hammering a ton of redraft mocks. You know, we don't have too much longer until we're drafting for a Dynasty League. So once that wraps up, like the primary focus of the channel is going to be redraft. So it's good to see some of, you know, Praise in here tonight. We got Andrew in here tonight, Anthony. So good to see some of you guys out here. Oh, man, there's still, there's some running backs I really like, but I'm going to go Devonta Smith here. Get 2 receivers off the board, and we'll move right along. So essentially going to try and roll like a hero running back style here with Bijan, which should be just fine. Boxing the Jack, Prey, what's going on, everybody? Taylor, what's up, what's up? How we doing, guys? Yeah, David, we should have some spots for single league, single quarterback Dynasty leagues. So details are on Discord, or details will be on Discord, I guess I should say, because I mean, I'll just try to remember to add you to the list, David, because really all I've been doing right now is collecting names, and I'm only going to run 3 total leagues. The first league is completely full, all YouTube members in the first league. The second and third league, after I get all the names together, anyone who is a YouTube member out of those names will have a guaranteed spot. Anyone who is not will just be added to a list to pull from. But like right now, I don't think that's going to be an issue. You know, I'm still going to give precedence to YouTube members just because they're paying for the subscription, and you know, I want to have things like that to where I can give them some value back for supporting the channel. But at the same time, with the number of names I have right now, I don't think it's going to be an issue. I think everyone who wants to play will be able to play. So, David, I'll add you to the list. It is the only spots I have left are for a single quarterback league. The Superflex leagues are filled up. But, yeah, I'll just remember to add you to the list and get you the details when they come out. And at that point, you can decide if you still want to play or not. Thomas, I want in all redrafts. So, yeah, I will definitely be throwing together, Anthony, this is not a Dynasty draft. No, sir. Redraft tonight. I'll definitely be, for YouTube members, there'll be some interesting leagues this year. You know, we'll run the free redraft tournament, Catch Fam tournament, like we do every year. But outside of that, for YouTube members, there's going to be some interesting redraft leagues I'm going to put together this year. So I'm really excited about that. So I'll have to, like, develop a way to kind of sort that out amongst our YouTube members. I'm probably going to have to randomly put you guys into certain leagues, depending on how much interest there is. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Sir Bongsalot, what's going on, man? Thank you for being here tonight. What's up? What's up? Thoughts on Swift? You know, it just depends on when you're able to draft DeAndre Swift. Okay, like, here's the thing. Like, you've got the upside. You've got the ceiling of the possibility of DeAndre Swift not being hurt this year. Like, there is a world where Swift does not miss time this year and is fine. And then now he's on the Eagles. Should be a really good thing. And even if you look at the last 3 seasons, right? 13 games, 14 games. Like, he hasn't actually missed that much time, but it feels like he's missed more time because of all those questionable tags, all the doubtful tags, and at times being on the field when he has been hurt, and then other touches going to other running backs, so his value, you know, has decreased, even though he's been active, because he's playing through injuries, right? So, listen, I'm not out on Swift. Like, okay, he just went off the board at 4.7. Like, also, if you have the conviction in Swift, like, I'm not going to talk you out of it, you know? And I think that's pretty fair. I think the 4th round is fair because he does hold that risk. And you also have to look at the backfield with Rashad Penny, who has his own history of injuries, Kenneth Walker, and Boston Scott. Like, at the end of the day, I mean, there are still other running backs in that backfield who can definitely make an impact. This is going to be tough. Yeah, there are a couple players I really like available right now. We'll go DJ Moore. We'll see what happens here. There are like quite a few different. I was planning on going running back right there, but there are a couple directions I might take this. So I think either way, I'll be happy with that selection at 5.3. And honestly, like 3 or 4 different wide receivers I would consider taking, but we'll go with DJ Moore. David says Penny's number 1 in Philly until he gets hurt. Yeah, it's just tough. I could see a world where there are weeks, as long as he's healthy, where Penny gets more touches, but it's going to be a tough backfield to really read right out of the gate. And like the assumption is that the Eagles are going to want Jalen Hurts to run the football less, to sign a massive contract, but at the same time, like, they're not going to take all of Jalen Hurts' rushing ability away from him. Like, that's part of what makes him the quarterback he is. So, but I do think like they're going to want him to throw more. Don't get me wrong. So, it's going to be a tough backfield overall right out of the gate to get a read on. But I think right now where each Philadelphia running back is going is pretty fair overall. Why'd you pass up CMC for Bijan? I mean, like, there are numerous, I hate using the word analysts because I feel like most of the people that I like listen to or whatever, keep an eye on, I guess, like, don't consider themselves analysts. Like, they're just content creators. But there are a lot of people out there in the fantasy community, that's probably the best way to put it, who are really in belief that Bijan should be the first running back off the board. And like I said when I took him, like, I completely understand if you'd rather take C-Mac there. I still don't get why Eckler's ADP has been pushed back so drastically. I don't want to go on another rant about it. If you want to go Eckler, I don't have a problem with that either. But I certainly think if you draft C-Mac, you know exactly what you're getting. Don't get me wrong. And I will not argue going C-Mac over Bijan at all. Honestly, like, they're pretty close overall for me. Okay, C-Mac definitely on a better offense, definitely in a better situation overall in San Francisco. But I just think Bijan's going to have one of those rookie years. You know what I mean? Like, I think Bijan holds more upside overall. And I seriously, like, once August is here, you'll be seeing a lot of Bijan off the board before any other running backs. And, like, You're going to have some leagues here and there, even where he goes at the 1.2. I don't think I'm going to make the argument for 1.1, but like you will have some fantasy managers out there who have the 1.2 and they want to start their draft with a running back. But I really think right now, I don't know outside of injuries what could really change the top 4 picks, but in my mind it will be Chase, JJ, C-Mac, and Bijan off the board. I really, when I'm looking out there in terms of like redraft rankings per se, Cooper Kupp is definitely moving back up. I mean, he goes at 1.5 tonight, and I don't have a problem with that either. And then Kelsey, I think, is the next, like, just looking at consistency, right? Chase, in terms of players getting taken off the board and redraft mocks as well as just redraft rankings out there, I feel like Chase, JJ, C-Mac, Bijan, Kupp, and Kelsey are kind of solidified, like, as the top 6 selections. I think Eckler should still be there. So, like, I would say those are, like, my top 7 guys. And I think Tyreek Hill is pretty much next in line just based on consistency. Like, tonight, Lamb has gone at 1.6. Diggs has gone at 1.9. Adams at 1.11. Barkley at 1.12. Like, that's your whole first round, right? I could see any of those guys being in that first round discussion. In terms of players who could creep in and redraft, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Garrett Wilson. There's enough hype around Garrett Wilson that I won't be surprised if he goes at 1.10, 1.11, 1.12. Breece Hall. I really think Breece Hall could move up a little bit more drastically than where he's being selected. So I could see any of those guys going in the first as well. But like I said, those top like 6 guys are pretty much solidified right now. And at the same time, it might take, it just depends on what sources you're looking at. But it might take a little bit of time for Bijan to really creep back up to like how high I've got him. But I guarantee you guys, there are a lot of people who have that same conviction out there in Bijan. All right, so when I took Fields, like Watson was there. I do really like Lockett. He was there. But I was looking at like Pacheco, Rashad White, Kirk, Watson were kind of the top guys I was looking at. And even Drake London, when I picked DJ Moore, like Drake London being there, I knew one other receiver would fall out. But then with Fields sitting there, I felt like I'd get the little stack, go for a little bit of upside. So I'm going to take Ayuk here. Right now for me in redraft, I really like the hero running back format because I think there's a lot of good wide receiver value between like the 2nd and 6th round. But I also don't mind, like, so essentially, like, I want to fill my 2 wide receiver spots, my 2 flex spots with wide receivers as soon as I can in redraft drafts right now. But I also don't have a problem with just coming out the gate and loading up at wide receiver, somewhere, if you want to go wide receiver in the first round. It kind of depends on where you select from. So if you have like the 1.3, 1.4, or a later round first round pick, I could see running backs going off the board for you. But yeah, I like the hero running back style overall. So we'll see how I can kind of hopefully shape things up here. All right, I'm going to AJ Dillon here. It's the thing, like the rest of our running backs aren't going to be great, but when you really look at the redraft landscape the last year or two, that quote-unquote running back dead zone has some really good value to it as the season goes on. So we'll see what I come up with here. Taylor says, end of the 3rd round through mid-4th is booty cheeks. No idea who to take there. I think Najee is a great value right there, man. I don't have a problem with Aaron Jones either. Thomas was hoping Swift was going to get taken while talking about him. Well, hey, it worked out for you, man. Did I say the wrong name, boss man? Are you just saying Kenneth Gainwell's RB1 in Philly? That works too. Yeah, I went with the Bears stack tonight. Why not, Thomas? The Bears. I like going Fields Komet, good for late round tight end value, absolutely. Was going to go Pacheco's Akers or White, but got sniped, so went T-Law. I mean, you can't really argue against Trevor Lawrence. I mean, part of me thought about going Trevor Lawrence over Justin Fields in the 5th, but ultimately, I love T-Law. I would, like, in any format right now, if I land Trevor Lawrence, I'm not going to be upset, but I also think that Fields brings a nice amount of rushing upside, of course. So, yeah. I think in, I don't know, redraft formats, I really like Fields right now. Thoughts on Mike Evans with Baker at quarterback? You know, Emil, so I think off the top of my head, the stat is that Mike Evans was wide receiver 31 before that massive game in week 17. So that literally pushed him up like into wide receiver 17. That's just off the top of my head. So I'm a little bit worried. Mike Evans had some good games last year, don't get me wrong. He also had some really bad games. You know, he had 30 points in week 4, but he scored 2 touchdowns. 18 in week 1, scored 1 touchdown. A couple good games in there in the middle. But, yeah, I just think... Listen, I want to support Mike Evans because, like, Evans and Godwin still have a good value at where they're being drafted. They're still very talented wide receivers. And bad offenses, even with mediocre quarterback play, can still produce good fantasy wide receivers. So, like, part of me still wants to like both Evans and Godwin, and I'm still leaning towards Godwin right now. But you have to admit the shift from Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield is going to be for real. And, like, I will root for Baker all day long, but we just have to accept from a fantasy perspective, it's not a good thing. It's just not. I mean, and I could be wrong. You know, as time goes on, as the season goes on, Baker could, you know, be what Baker was supposed to be. The rest of that team is pretty good, don't get me wrong. But I just, we have to admit that the drop-off from losing Brady, who had really good I mean, granted, it's Brady. He, you know, could create good chemistry with just about anyone. But had good chemistry with Evans and even with Godwin, too. And, like, the thing is, Evans struggled at points, even if it was just like receiving targets. There were points of last season where it was really frustrating to own Mike Evans. So I think we just have to admit that going from Tom Brady to Mike Evans is probably not going to be very good for the Bucs wide receivers. But when we're looking at value in our drafts, I absolutely think that Evans and Godwin hold good value. And if I'm going to have to pick one right now, I'm going to go Godwin. But will I be surprised if Evans comes out and by the end of the year puts up 1,000 receiving yards and 3 or 4 touchdowns? If we're lucky, like 6 or 7. No, I won't be surprised because Mike Evans is still a very, very good receiver. So, chat, let me know. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Baker situation. How do you guys feel? All right, where do I want to go here? See, like, I have to keep going running back. Kind of slightly part of the issue with going hero running back style, but I'll survive. And, like, the thing is, like, I still have to get wide receiver depth in this draft. On a scale of 1 to 10, when you guys think of Justin Fields, how worried are you about injuries, potentially? Because I'm not, like, overly concerned. But at the same time, obviously, Fields has a slight injury history, right? more so in 2021, but I'm not too worried. Emil says 10. Uh-oh. Taylor says, just as concerned as I am with any other NFL player being injured, to be honest, anyone can get hurt anytime. That's fair. That's fair. Just, curious, particular player. Like, I mean, obviously Fields versus Burrow, player who primarily sits in the pocket can have more fear, but it's a fair point. Literally anyone could get hurt, like practicing this week or playing basketball. It's like stuff happens. So that's fair. Thomas, maybe a 6 or 7. I mean, he has more weapons to throw to now. Hopefully he won't run as much. That's fair. That is a good point, Taylor. Most quarterbacks who got hurt last year got hurt in the pocket. That's fair. I do feel like there were a lot of plays when Fields was running. I don't know. He'll probably improve on this throughout the offseason. And in terms of like just giving up his body, I think he'll improve on that. All right. Into the 10th round we are. I feel like we're flying through this draft. Alexander Madison off the board. Let's go. See, like at some point in this draft, I'm going to have to turn around and start taking some dart throws at wide receivers as well. I feel like Brandon Ayuk in the 6 is like such a good. I mean, Christian Kirk in the 6. Brandon Ayuk in the 6. I love both those selections. If you guys haven't been able to tell them, definitely rising on Ayuk going into next season. Not that I ever disliked him, but I just feel good about him. Thomas, by the way, my Charbonnet got sniped. Uh-oh. Yeah, Taylor grabbed him up at the 8.2. Still got Herbert. What's going on with Dalvin? I just got in my auction league last night, nervous about it. What's going on with Dalvin? I don't know. I don't think anyone really knows. There are some people out there who still think he'll be back with the Vikings. So, I mean, truthfully, I could see like anything happening, but we'll just have to sit back and see what happens. You just don't want to get into a situation where you're playing too many hypotheticals. Like, yeah, I could see him landing multiple different places. Give me Zeke. Someone's got to take him. Yeah, right now I'm just looking for like any running backs who offer value. Taylor, I'm going to cry if he goes to the Rams. I mean, it could happen. I mean, obviously, I would love to see Dalvin Cook go to a team where he's going to contend, but like, who could that really be? The Bengals? If Mixon doesn't go back? There were early rumors about the Dolphins, but I don't think they really, with A-Chain there now, and I mean, you already have Mostard and Wilson. Could land with Buffalo, play with his brother. I don't think that's like crazy out of the question. There's only so many teams out there. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I do think Dalvin Cook could land in a backfield and really hurt a backfield's fantasy value overall. But we'll just have to sit back and see. I mean, chat, let me know. Where do you think Dalvin Cook lands? I mean, it's like, is there really a wrong answer right now? McKinnon's a great pick. I almost went McKinnon over Zeke. In redraft, I am loving the value of Jerick McKinnon right now. Absolutely loving it. So, my original plans going into the 10th, 11th round was to draft Jerick McKinnon. But then for some reason I saw Zeke there, and I was like, redraft, let's go, give me Zeke. So, but I knew I had to get Cole. If I wanted Cole Kmet here, I knew I was going to have to go ahead and select him. So, David says, prediction: Pollard will be a huge bust at ADP. Interesting. I like Pollard a lot right now. I do. I'm a Pollard fan, but I can always respect your guys' opinions overall. Prediction number 2, Henry still top 5. Yeah, I don't really have an issue with Derrick Henry whatsoever. Because we've kind of heard it, you know, and eventually, like, yes, you can say this about, like, any veteran-esque player. Like, eventually they're going to, you know, the tires are going to wear out, right? And Derrick Henry has certainly been pretty much ran into the ground. But if he stays with the Titans, like, I just don't think it's going to change. If he goes to a different team, we'll see what happens. But, like, he's still Derrick Henry. So, obviously, he was hurt in 2021. But, gosh, through 8 games, had 937 rushing yards and 10 rushing touchdowns. Outside of that, which was still an incredible pace, he's been a top 5 fantasy running back in PPR and standard scoring formats since 2019. So, is it crazy to say? No, it's not even close to crazy. Well, I mean, like, do you guys feel like Derrick Henry is going to go to a different team? Like, I feel like, you know, that was such a large topic of conversation. I feel like it's far, far gone at this point. Taylor, I thought the Bengals too, but if they're cutting Mixon the same money, are they really going to pay Dalvin? You know, overall, man, I don't know how much money they are really going to have to spend on Dalvin. You know? I think that they could probably pretty easily bring in Dalvin on like a minimum contract. Or unless they're going to have to just eat the Vikings contract that already has. I don't know. But I think right now, from what we've seen from the running back market, is veteran running backs are not in a good position. Ezekiel Elliott, Joe Mixon, Dalvin Cook, like, teams are viewing them as replaceable, and they don't want to pay them. I mean, even look at Austin Eckler, who has every case in the world to get a new contract right now at the position, or even be the highest paid running back in the league. He's not going to be. It's just how it is. Teams are not putting the same value on him, so we'll have to see. Tom says, how about them Kraken? Let's go. Man, it's going to be a scary game tomorrow. Dallas is really good, but I think Seattle's really good as well, man. And even, you know, EDM in Vegas, like, I could see that series literally going in either direction. So I think both sides of things are I mean, you've got some really good teams left in the NHL playoffs and the NBA playoffs, with Boston eliminating the 76ers today. But overall right now, I think both hockey and basketball playoffs are like just literally could go in any direction. Oh my gosh, I was so unprepared for this draft pick. It is not even funny. And you guys drafted a lot of really good players. I don't know why Sleeper has been doing that lately. Like, it says I have like 10 seconds. I mean, I'll take Rodgers. I'm not upset. But it says I have like 10 seconds left. And then it like puts me on auto pick. But it's okay. It's okay. I was trying to literally just check one last thing, but that's okay. Frankly, probably most of the players I was looking at will be available at 13.3. So, but Sleeper's been coming at me lately with that, man. All right, well, there's Fields for those of you, or excuse me, Rodgers, for those of you who think Fields will be hurt. I mean, I'm going to go wide receiver at this next pick. I just don't know which wide receiver I'm going to pick. Draft or the potential selections are pretty thin right now. I guess I did make this draft a little bit longer than it needs to be, but we'll just stick with it and see who you guys take off the board. I'll go Josh Palmer here. I still like Palmer, even with Quentin Johnston there, just because injury history with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Like, you get Palmer on the field, I think he's going to get enough targets. Emil, I can see a world where Cook gets traded to the Dolphins. You know, it's not the craziest thing to consider because I guess one thing to think about is some of these teams that are still in a good position at running back, or, you know, have just drafted a rookie running back and have two veteran running backs like the Dolphins, like, they can still trade or sign a veteran and cut a player, you know? Like, they have players in position right now, but ultimately they can still cut someone, you know? And Dalvin Cook certainly makes the case on any team to, you know, result in another running back getting cut, so... David, Pollard's not durable enough to play more than 40 snaps. Coaches said so. Then they were forced to play him. What happened? Now he's trying to come back. A broken leg. David also says, watch out for where Hunt lands. Could be sneaky valuable. Yeah, definitely be interesting. Like, I mean, we haven't heard, like, anything about Kareem Hunt. Like, there were some rumors, like, he could re-sign with the Browns, which I don't think is, like, too crazy to say. Like I said, the running back market right now it's just tough. It really is. But when you look at the Browns backfield, you got Jerome Ford there, who's going into his second season. Then you've got Demetric Felton there as well. He's going into his third season. So, like, Ford is an interesting player, but ultimately, like, you don't have, like, proven guys, I would say, at the RB2 and 3 position. So that they're an interesting team. Like, you know, since we've been talking about guys like Dalvin Cook and Joe Mixon tonight, maybe the Browns could be a team where one of those players ends up. But also, you know, touching on Kareem Hunt, definitely a candidate to go back to the Browns, but also a candidate to land just about anywhere. David, Lawrence is being overdrafted. He's not a top 6 QB. There are 5 other quarterbacks you can get rounds later who approximately can have the same chance of scoring. Oh, T-Law's my guy. I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, in redraft, though, like, here in the 13th round, Jared Goff, Daniel Jones, Geno Smith. In the 12th, we got Rodgers and Tua. You got other guys like Richardson, Stroud, Cousins. And I was just slightly disrespectful to Cousins there. I mean, he's your QB6 last year. Russ with Sean Payton, Watson in the 11th, Kyler in the 10th. Like, in a single quarterback redraft format, there is a ton of good value at quarterback in late rounds. I'm not going to argue against that whatsoever. But I still like me some T-Law. I still like my boy Trevor. And I am of the belief that we saw enough of the Jaguars offense taking a step forward next year that we should be optimistic about what they can do in a second year together. But like I said, don't have any issue with you guys stating your opinions as well. All right, final round, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do it. Let's do it. Albert, what's up, my guy? How we doing, man? All right, truthfully, I could draft another tight end here. I could add a running back. I don't know, like Michael Carter, Dwayne McBride, Evan Hull. Other than that, I don't really love the available running backs. I mean, I got Bijan, so I'm not too upset. Albert, I hope you had a great weekend as well. I'm probably just going to draft a tight end and call this a night. Big Ben's off the board. Okay, I think it's time for some team reviews. Prey raising his hand super early. Got to get his first place spot. Prey, what did you do tonight, man? Kyler and Tua. Waller, Gesicki. Perfectly fine with the quarterback room in a one quarterback redraft format for sure. If I'm going to go Waller as my tight end one, I do not see like any value in Gesicki right now. Right? Like, sure, the Patriots view him as a receiver tight end hybrid. New offensive coordinator, maybe worth the dart throw. I mean, if you think Waller is going to be healthy, I guess that's fine. But I just don't have the same faith in Gesicki, which is saying a lot because I've been pretty high on Gesicki in past years. And maybe I'm just sour because last year he sucked, you know. But once again, different offense, new head coach in Miami, and they just, which is weird because obviously, George Kittle was heavily utilized by the same head coach, and now I don't know, they didn't utilize Gesicki, which is weird. But I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not gonna beat you up too much for taking him in the 15th round. All right, C-Mac, E.T., and Javonte Kamara, Zach Evans, pretty good running back room, good RB value throughout this draft, man. Receivers, we got Metcalf, McLaurin, Hollywood, Burks, Moore, Reed. I mean, once again, good job at identifying good wide receiver value throughout the draft. So you'd be starting Tua, starting Waller, starting C-Mac and ETN, Metcalf, McLaurin, flexing Hollywood, flexing Burks. Just fine. I mean, you also have Javonte and Kamara. Like, those guys can easily move into your flex spots. But obviously, Kamara looming suspension, Javonte coming back from injury. So a little bit of question marks there. But good to have both those guys on your bench. Elijah Moore, Reed, Evans, all good bench options. Kyler is a second quarterback down the road I'm a fan of. Gesicki is fine as your QB2. But yeah, if you're worried about Waller being hurt at all this year, which last 2 years, lots of injuries there, then I don't know if I feel 110% overly confident Gesicki is my tight end too. But upside of Waller could pay off for you for sure. Good looking squad, man. Good to have you in the draft tonight, man. All right, Taylor. What's up, dude? We got Lamar and Cousins. Nothing wrong with that. Looks great. And Njoku McBride. Perfectly fine with that. Harris, Aaron Jones, Charby, Pirine, Warren. I can live with that in redraft. Adams, Brown, Lockett, Bateman, Rice, Shaheed. Receivers are great. So you're starting Lamar, starting Njoku, starting Harris and Jones, starting Adams and Brown, flexing Lockett, flexing Bateman, but you've also got Rice and Shaheed to come into that role. Charbs and Pirine, great bench running back options. Warren, a good handcuff option. McBride, fine to have on the bench. Cousins, fine to have on the bench. Yeah, team looks solid. Running back depth, I guess you could argue, like, if Charbs isn't getting the volume, Pirine once Javonte's back. Warren you have Najee, so like you're kind of good there. But other than that, team looks fine to me, man. Looks good. How do you feel about it? All right, Emil. We got Prescott. We have Goff. Kelsey and Mayer. I'm good with both the quarterback and tight end room. Chubby, Stevenson, Monty, Singletary. I mean, you're a little thin there, but like, let's redraft. You can come back from that. Waiver wire trades, all that. Ridley, Evans, Cooks, Johnston, Sutton, Jones, Pierce. Not my favorite wide receiver room. Ridley, you still got the question mark of he hasn't played football in a long time. Evans, you've got the question mark of Baker at quarterback. Cooks, you've got the question mark of him not being as productive in the last couple years as, well, I mean, really last year primarily, but, still a veteran, but he is going to a better landing spot with the Cowboys. Johnston, I like Johnston. I think he's fine in the 9th. Sutton, like you got the question mark of is still the Broncos, but they're expected to take a step forward. I mean, like Johnson, Sutton, Jones, Pierce are all fine values where you got them. It's really the first three wide receivers that you took off the board in conjunction with these guys. Ultimately, like I think you'd be able to find three guys at least who will be fine for you on the season, though. So let's see here. We're starting Prescott, starting Kelsey, starting Chubb and Stevenson, starting Ridley and Evans, flexing Sutton and Cooks, but you got Monty, you got Singletary Jones. You got a lot of options. You got Quinn Johnston, too. You have Mayer, and like I love Mayer as a tight end 2 behind Travis Kelce. That's a great move. Quarterback room looks great. Tight ends look great. Running backs look just fine, even if they're a little bit thin. And I don't even mind that you kind of loaded up with more receivers because of the receivers on your board as opposed to running back. So, how do you feel about it, man? Anthony, what do we do tonight, my dude? Herbert, Stroud, Big Ben. I like it. Kittle, Schultz, Laporta. I mean, pretty heavy tight end room, but I can't really argue against it. I mean, it's probably not necessary, but it's a good tight end room. Henry, Jacobs, Cook, McKinnon, Izzy. Love the running backs. I worry about Izzy in redraft. I think he's a fine like handcuff option, but I still think that with what we saw at Zonovan Knight last year and Michael Carter being there as well, I just worry about what we're really going to get out of Izzy this year. J.J. Pittman, Thomas Davis, like you're very thin at receiver. You know, I mean, even in this format where you can play 2 tight ends in the flex, I would not go with the additional receiver. I wouldn't even go with Izzy there. I mean, obviously you picked Big Ben as a joke, so like that hurts your potential roster. You could have had a receiver there, but yeah, I don't want to come out of a redraft format with 4 wide receivers. But being that we can play 2 tight ends in the flex in this format, I mean, you could play Schultz and Laporta if you wanted to, or supplement with running backs as well. So it's not the end of the world. All right. Sorry, I like bumped my camera, but it looks like we're fine. All right, you're starting Herbie, starting Kittle, starting Henry and Jacobs, starting JJ and Pittman, and then like in the flex, like I said, I mean you got Cook, McKinnon, and don't get me wrong, as long as Thomas is healthy, which didn't they announce? No, they didn't announce anything. I mean, yeah, has hardware removed in foot. That's all we got. Okay. And then Gabe Davis, like just obviously a massive disappointment last year, but didn't have that bad of a year. But based on his ADP, had a very bad year. So it's still a little boom or bust there, right? Is what we saw last year at least. So you have options in the flex, Anthony. But I like more wide receivers on this team in a nutshell. David says Shoemaker will be a top 10 tight end. Dak cannot survive without a security blanket tight end. He's the most talented. I think that I like that prediction. You know, I mean, I think there are obviously a couple young tight ends on the Cowboys, but Cowboys went out and got Shoemaker for a reason. I think you're right. Dak definitely likes to have a tight end in his back pocket on every play. Thomas, he got sniped a couple times tonight. T-Law and Richardson at quarterback, I'm fine with. Ingram and Nkonkwo, I'm fine with that. Walker, Swift, Herbert, Fournette, McIntosh. I mean, I know we went a little bit deep tonight in terms of the rounds. Like we probably could have done without a 14th and 15th round for a redraft format. But McIntosh, I mean, fine to hold on to, I guess, if we're drafting that deep in redraft. But he probably won't have a lot of redraft value. Let's see here. Lamb, Waddle, Watson, Pickens, Beckham, Downs. Wide receivers look pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I think there are enough people out there who would argue against your running back room with Walker getting a hit in volume, Swift being injury prone, Herbert having Roschon Johnson there as well as Donta Foreman. And then, I mean, Fournette is probably fine in the 11th in redraft with most of the running backs who are already off the board. So I personally don't, like, I'm not against Walker and Swift, personally. But some people would argue against it. Nonetheless, we're starting T-Law, Ingram, Walker and Swift, Lamb and Waddle, flexing Watson, flexing Pickens. I really like that core roster. A ton of upside with players like Watson, Swift. Yeah. Looks good to me, man. I mean, your bench is going to be Herbert, Beckham, Downs, Fournette, McIntosh, Richardson, and Conquo. Pretty good-looking team. There's a lot of boom or bust elements to this team, but hey, man, if this hits and you start to pick up the right waivers throughout the season, I think you'd be in a really good spot, actually. Box and the Jack. There we are at the 1.12. Okay. Burrow, say no more. Freiermuth, I'm fine within the 8th. Someone out there is going to be worried because they drafted Washington. If you wanted to get another tight end at the end of your draft, you could, but I think Freiermuth will be fine. Some volume will be taken away. I think he'll be okay, though. Barkley, Connor, Pacheco, Damon Harris, Kendre Miller, Jeff Wilson, Deuce Vaughn. I mean, running backs are fine. A lot of running backs. Amon-Ra, Keenan Allen, Addison, Thielen, Mechie, Collins. Like, I might take another shot on another receiver, but if you weren't confident in your running backs, I think it's okay, the direction you went. But I'd probably take another receiver. But ultimately, I mean, you went one quarterback, one tight end, and you just load up a receiver and running back. That's fine. You're starting Burrow, starting Freiermuth, starting Barkley and Pacheco. Barkley and Connor, either way. Starting Amon-Ra and Keenan Allen. Then in your flex, like you've got Connor, Pacheco, Addison. You got Thielen. I mean, really, any of these guys you draft at the end at some point could be considered a flex option more than likely. So, I mean, you got a lot of depth. You got a lot of bench pieces. You got a good quarterback, a good tight end. 2 good starting running backs, 2 good starting receivers, and enough players playing the flex that I like. It's a good-looking team, man. Kudo, what's up, my guy? We got Geno at quarterback. Honestly, in redraft single quarterback formats right now, I have no problem with Geno Smith as a QB1 at all. Goddard at tight end, no problem with that at all. Eckler, Gibbs, Mixon, Roschon, Gainwell. Beautiful. Went out and get Kelly as a handcuff to Eckler and get Chase Brown a really good value at 15.10 even in redraft. Wilson, Judy, Godwin, JSN, a beautiful value at 8.3. JMO, another nice value at 9.10 even with him missing 6 games. And Tyler Boyd. This is a good-looking squad, my dude. Starting Geno, Goddard, Eckler, and Gibbs. Wilson and Judy. Flexing Godwin and Mixon. And then you still have JSN, JMO, Boyd, Roschon, Gainwell to pull from, and then Kelly and Brown on your bench. I think it's a great team. Yeah. That might be my favorite team of the night. Andrea, hello. How are you doing? We got Hurts and Wilson at quarterback. I'm perfectly okay with that. Dulcich, I'm fine with. There are some people in the fantasy community with Dulcich coming off an injury, as well as Sean Payton going out and trading for Adam Trotman. There are some fantasy managers, people in the fantasy community who are a little bit worried about Dulcich right now. But I still think he holds the upside at the position on this team. Ultimately, Trotman, kind of like a physical specimen, just didn't really turn out to be that guy in New Orleans. But Sean Payton drafted him originally. We'll see what happens. So I guess point being, if you draft Dulcich, you could consider drafting a second tight end. Running backs, Akers, White, Algier, Madison, Bigsby. I'm okay with that. Madison, a great value. At receiver, we got Diggs, Higgins, Hopkins, Tony, Flowers, Boutte, Mingo. I mean, 3 rookie receivers. Maybe you want to even that out a little bit more. But honestly, like with the 3 vets you have at the top, then Kadarius Toney is a wild card option. I'm not really against it. Flowers is a good value where he got him. Kayshawn could see a lot of volume, but I still think Juju's the number 1 guy there. And Mingo is kind of a sneaky pick at 14.4, so I'm not really against any of those guys. So we're starting Hurts, starting Dulcich, starting Akers and White, starting Diggs and Higgins, flexing Hopkins, flexing Tony. That leaves you with Algier, Flowers, Madison, Kayshawn, Mingo, Bigsby. You're in a pretty good spot here. I like this team a lot, Andrea. mean, running backs, you could also argue, like, you know, if Zach Evans takes away the volume from Akers or they sign a veteran. But like I still like Akers where he's being drafted, just with what we saw at the end of last season. And I love Rashad White at 6.4. So Madison's a great value. Algier and Bigsby, like just good handcuff option. So good looking team, Andrea. It's probably my second favorite team of the night. Those are Kuda and Andrea, probably my two favorite teams. But I do definitely think we've gone over a lot of good teams so far. All right, let's see. Elver, what's up, my dude? Thank you for tuning in. David, news today, Javonte not ready for start of season. He'll be this year's version of Dobbins. Yeah, I don't actually think that's an unfair comparison. But, I mean, I know Sean Payton came out and said there's a good chance Javonte will avoid the PUP list to begin training camp. But that could also just be Sean Payton saying coach things. So I don't know. Thomas, grab McIntosh in case a K9 or Charbs went down. He'd step in a little. That's fair. Box, I think Muth is going to be running more routes and do less blocking now that they got Darnell. I think that's right. I mean, I do think that there will be certain packages where Washington is targeted. But ultimately, I do think it could be a positive thing for Freiermuth. I'm not against that. Boss man, I skipped you. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Don't get mad at me. All right, we got Watson and Danny Dimes. Perfectly fine with that. Kincaid and Ertz, I'm okay with. I mean, I like seeing Ertz being taken. We'll have to see what type of updates we continue to get. But in redraft, that's going to be the format where you take him, right? Obviously, he was playing very well last year before he got hurt. JT, Pollard, Pierce, Mitchell, Spears, great running backs. Hill, Cooper, Kirk, Dotson, really nice start through the first 7 rounds. Mooney, a good value. Hyde, a good value. A good-looking team. I like this team a lot, boss man. Yeah, that's up there with my 3 faves of the night, honestly. Just really solid value through the first 7 rounds. So you're starting Watson or Jones, whatever you want, depending on what defenses they're playing. You're probably starting Kincaid. Yeah, let's say you're starting Kincaid. If Ertz is healthy to start the year, maybe you start the year with Ertz, but eventually probably Kincaid, right? If all things go how we think they're going to go. Starting JT and Pollard, starting Hill and Cooper, flexing Kirk and Dotson, but you got Damian Pierce, you got Darnell Mooney, you got Mitchell, who's a great handcuff. He's still going to see volume, even when C-Mac's healthy at times. Hyatt's a good option. I like him down there. Danny Dimes, Spears, and Ertz are good bench options. Very good team. All right, let's roast my team, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, give me one quick second. Okay, sorry guys, I'm back. My wife was like freaking out because someone was banging on her door, so I had to investigate, but I'm back. All right, let's roast my team and wrap things up. Did I say it was just our neighbor? So we're good. Okay. All right, Fields and Rogers. Dude, redraft single quarterback, I'm perfectly fine with that. Komet and Jawan Johnson. No issues there. No issues there. Bijan, Dylan, Robinson, A-Chain, Zeke. So, like I said at the beginning of the stream, wanting to go kind of hero running back style. I still think Dylan. It's funny, I got Bijan and Brian Robinson. But overall, how do you guys feel about this backfield? I mean, Dylan, Brian Robinson, A-Chain, Zeke on the bench. So overall, I still think I got pretty good value at running back. And that's kind of like if you're going hero running back, you're not going to get the greatest value towards the end of the draft. But you have to hit on that value of guys like a AJ Dillon, like a Brian Robinson, and almost to a degree, you can end up just rotating players as well. As long as your RB1 is still hitting on a consistent basis. Anyways, where we get the upside is at quarterback and at wide receiver. So Olave Smith, DJ Moore, Brandon Ayuk. Then in later rounds, Josh Palmer and Isaiah Hodgins. Tight end, we've got Komet and Jawan Johnson. I feel pretty okay about this team. We're starting Fields, starting Komet, so we get a little bit of stack action. I know Tanyan's there as well now, but we've got Jawan Johnson as well. Bijan and AJ Dillon, like, I'm not too upset about in my starting running back spots. And that's the thing. Like, I have Bijan there at RB1. Then at RB2, I can rotate AJ Dillon, Brian Robinson, Devon A-Chain, and hopefully Zeke brings us some value considering I went with him over Jerick McKinnon. And I thought there was a chance Kenneth Gainwell would slide back out, but no, we didn't. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, Fields, Komet, Bijan, Dillon, Olave, Devonta Smith, DJ Moore, and Ayuk in the flex. I don't feel bad about that. Can rotate Brian Robinson, A-Chain, and Zeke at the RB2. Palmer and Hodgins, good bench pieces. Jawan, a backup tight end. Aaron Rodgers. Perfectly fine as my QB2. Yeah, I'm okay with this team. All right. I guess that wraps up the stream. We hit all of our team review. I mean, it's just fun. Like, we've been so focused on Dynasty for very good reason, but just being able to get back to some redraft action here and there is always fun. So I know we've been doing off-air redraft mocks as well through Discord, but actually being able to like sit down and have some discussion and like seeing all the landing spots live is definitely fun as well. So, all right, guys. That should wrap it up for the night. I'm going to go hang out with the wife for a little bit. Mother's Day, all that good stuff. A little bit of an earlier stream tonight. Sorry about the me randomly popping up. Wife was freaking out. Didn't know who was at the door. But everything's good. So, very good draft tonight. Some very good teams across the board. And I just appreciate you guys drafting with me tonight. And I appreciate you guys coming out to the stream tonight. So, I'm going to try and put out a schedule like early tomorrow for what I want to do this week in terms of streams, but be expecting a Dynasty Superflex stream Monday and Tuesday night for our mock drafts for League 1 and then League 2. Then I'd probably say an Underdog draft Wednesday night and then a single quarterback Dynasty mock on Thursday. Then Friday and Saturday, I don't know exactly what we'll do. Could be Underdog, could be redraft. I don't know. But I think for the next 2 or 3 weeks, I want to have like a set schedule in place. And then those of you who are in our respective Dynasty leagues can have like a night where you can expect for us to be drafting. And hopefully that gets most of each individual league drafting at the same time. So, yeah, man. That's just going to do it for tonight. And should have a good week of content coming for you guys. Thomas, Boxing the Jack, David, Andrea, Kuda, Nate. Nate, can you predict my Hawks record, bro? Ooh. I think they win 10 games. Elver. That's the most random prediction. Albert. Pray. Taylor. Sir Bongsalot. Emil. Anthony. Everyone else who came out. Everyone else who hung out tonight. Thank you guys for being here and spending part of your night here at the channel. Make sure you guys hit that like on the way out. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys check out the links down below. Follow us on Instagram. Join our Discord. And thank you guys for being here tonight, whether you guys are new to the channel or not. And that'll wrap things up. So let me know if you guys need anything. And love you guys, man. Love this community. Love the Catch fam. That'll do it. Talk to you guys tomorrow. With that, I will say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the Catch. And